pleasure to introduce to you Abigail Phillips. She is assistant professor in the School of Information Studies, and she received her doctorate in philosophy in information studies at Florida State University. She is currently teaching a number of courses, including public library and foundations of library and information studies. And she'll be sharing with us today her experience doing that and some of her work on that. So thank you, Abigail, for coming in. Please take it away.
Thank you. Part of the reason I volunteered to do one of these teaching labs was because I've been using Canvas since I was a doctoral student, because Florida State was one of the, I don't know if it was the first, but it was one of the first to get on board with Canvas, and this was back in 2012. So, and I used it during my postdoc. It was one of the, it was the only thing that we had as a learning management platform. So I just wanted to go over a couple of things. Key points are kind of here, but I've been teaching mostly online for several years now. I found that I'm much more comfortable in that space. So I'm also building my face-to-face teaching skills with my teaching mentor right in front of me. But so I just wanted to highlight a couple of things that I found really effective, and more than effective. I think there's kind of a compassionate side of teaching that I try to bring out and make sure that my students really know I care about them, and what the assignments that they do, and the discussion boards, what they post to discussion boards is, I think it's going to be really interesting, and I learn a lot from them. I think it's really great to show my students that I'm learning from them and as much as they're learning from me. So I didn't have many really slides to prepare, just kind of talking through already, some of which you may already completely know these things, but for my class, I do not a lot of announcements. I try to do about 2 at least a week. And in these announcements, I make sure to do the general thing, like highlight what's coming up this week, but I also do shout outs to different, whether a student, I think the 2 assignments ago, they had a group project where they created these videos or some kind of website or something similar to that was kind of an online collection of resources, because we were talking about community engagement in libraries. So some of them are really super interesting ones, like one on beekeeping and how that is one tool for getting community engaged with the library. And so I highlighted in my announcements, I highlighted the group members and a link to their to the YouTube video they had posted, and like what I really liked about this. And so I try to do this for different students with different assignments, because I found that students really like to know that, I'm trying to think of the best word to explain it. Students really enjoy that connection, and that they know that you're actually looking at their assignment, because sometimes they don't go and read the feedback that you provide them. So that I'm not just posting a grade, that I'm actually watching their video and enjoying it. And I also do that with what they've been doing a lot of. They're doing an issues paper, and issues in the profession within the field of librarianship. And for this one, I've been doing similar things, because now they've given me their topics. So I've been discussing, like highlighting different topics that are really interesting, that are a little bit out of the box of kind of what you think of mainstream librarianship. So I think announcements are a really excellent tool to have that connection with a student and your whole class. Again, it's not every student is engaged in that way, but I found as a student myself, because I did, we had a kind of a hybrid system like we do here at UWM when I was a master's student at FSU, and but ours was synchronous, but still it was a nice way, since we can't see each other's faces. It was a nice tool for me. And let's see, what was else I'm going to talk about? I'm also going to highlight, my brain is just like, I've also started doing, I think this a little bit, this is is what a trait that I only recently learned from my mentor. Sorry, I just keep shouting. Yeah, I send during maybe every other class session. This is mostly for my face-to-face students. I send them, especially when we have people who come and visit, I send them emails of that, like, thank you for those great questions you brought to the discussion, because my face-to-face class is so small that it's more of a seminar kind of base. But I also do that likewise with my online students, especially with discussion board posts, because it's very hard. I don't know if it's hard for everybody else to manage when you have 28 students to go through every single discussion board post and respond to every single one of them. That is very hard for me and my TA. So I try to, when I see something that they posted, like, send them a little note and also make that clear. I think announcements is a really great tool for student engagement, because I also put links that my students have posted in the discussion board posts, because they post some amazing stuff way beyond the resources, the references that I gave them the required reading. And plus with ours, this particular, maybe slightly particular to our master's, is a professional degree, so you need that degree to become an official librarian. But some of these students have been in libraries for years. Some of them are directors, so they have a huge experience in public libraries and in academic libraries, but they need that, they need the degree. So they can offer a lot of advice, because I was never a library director, so they can answer questions within the discussion board, which is always blows my mind, that students are learning from students. I'm learning from students. It's a learning community. But so I also add those links to what they've suggested other students. And I also have taken some of those readings and like, it's really great for the next semester. So it's a great way to mine for more resources. I know I was going to definitely talk about some of the things I've been trying out with my online students, because not necessarily last semester was my first semester teaching, and I taught one online class, and I wanted to try to be even more engaging beyond discussion board posts and announcements. But I've tried out virtual hours. I don't know if anybody's tested that with Collaborate Ultra. And I have an hour. It's kind of hard to pick a good time when you have even office hours. I don't have set office hours. I just say they can drop in. Nobody drops in. So nobody has come to my office hours. I have it on Saturday. I think it's from 1 to 2. Maybe that was a bad time. So I'm trying to revamp it. So I don't know if that was necessarily a failure. It's just something that didn't work out well. Because I did a shout out on Twitter, and because most of mine is professional Twitter account. So I did a shout out to basically have a lot of librarians or academic instructors who are on my Twitter, within my Twitter community, and ask like what they do for online students. What do they, like virtual office hours? Because I hate just, what I used to post is as requested. And I don't know if that's kind of distancing me from students, but I wanted just like, hey, I'm here if you want to drop in and ask a question, and then just go away. But so nobody's taking me up on that. And so, what I'm thinking about during the summer, because I'm teaching the same course, is either doing, I think Elaine mentioned this yesterday, and I was like, kind of a require, like at least come to one, like have 5 or so different kind of office hours that you have to come to at least one. So as he mentioned, kind of demystifying what office hours are, like, because maybe some students are a little bit not uncomfortable, but feel odd going to office hours or intimidated by the instructor. Because I know that happened when I taught undergrads, but I taught them face to face. I think I had a total of 2 come as long as I had been a TA, and all through my 4 years as a doctoral student, 2 undergrads come to me during office hours. So, And I can remember as an undergrad, a little bit intimidated by my instructor, and I never went to office hours. So I'm either going to I like the idea of doing something like that, or something like, I got this idea because a student was confused about an assignment, and it was called there was a case study discussion, and she thought the discussion meant a virtual discussion instead of, it was more like a discussion short paper. I was like, that's really smart. Maybe I can do a doodle poll of like when the most people can come, and have like a nice virtual discussion, or just a nice way to start off the semester. They could turn their video off because they don't, that is intimidating. I was just on a conference call yesterday, and I kept staring at my face. I couldn't get away from my face. So you can turn off your video, and just for us, this is a nice way of basically the word bonding, but you get to hear each other's voices and maybe see each other's faces. Especially, I think that especially with asynchronous classes, it's really hard to make students feel that they're still in a class, because I have students from all over the country, and last semester I had one in Switzerland, so they're all over the place. So I sometimes worry about the disconnect of, am I really a grad student? Or is this just kind of, I don't know what it used to be called, like a not a mail. Used to do those courses like mail order course. You get no feedback really from your instructor or your classmates, but the discussions have been thriving to me within my classes. I'm not sure in part if that's the way I kind of structure my discussion questions, or if it's just the students taking it and going with it. Because these are already working professionals. I'm sure this is different for different undergraduate or master's level courses, but there's a lot of back and forth of, hey, have you tried this in your library? Or, hey, this is like a job announcement that may be interesting to you. 5 more minutes, man, okay, see, I can just like talk off the top of my head about all the things that I've been doing and failing at. Let's see, there was one other thing that I failed at. Well, I had the group project, and this goes back to the notifications, which is really important. And I completely forgot that you can opt out of notifications. I had a group project, again, on collecting online references for community engagement. And so I tested it out to see if letting the students pick their own, they had to have 3 to 4 people in a group max. And so I let them choose. So which meant instead of Canvas, instead of randomly assigning them a group, and it just actually made the group pages, I had to go in and manually make the group pages. So I learned how to do that. But I also learned that when you make the group and you put people into the group, if their notifications are turned off, they don't ever get the invitation to the group, and they kind of they need that group. And but I've had students make, even before I made the group, and I knew I was going to make groups, they're like, will you make us a group? It's like, yes, I will. And they never got the invitation because their notifications were turned off. The invitation was sent to them. They never got it. So I'm trying to make things very clear, and about halfway through the semester, I realized that there was stuff that it was just my assumptions that students would just stay with the default, and they did not. So I made it very clear, like, hey, I know you're not gonna you may be annoyed by lots of emails, but there are ways around them. So next semester, I'll definitely make that clear. Notifications are important because announcements from your instructor, especially like if I sent you a message through Gradebook that there's a problem with your assignment and you don't get that message, it's kind of not too terrific. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Things that I've failed or done well at, or.
How do you do virtual office hours? Is it like is it a wiki in there, or?
It's right, let's see, it doesn't have it.
A
It is
default course will not have
right.
it in there, but we can show you how to set that up, so we can.
Okay, yeah, I
So
didn't want to
is it
show
visual
my
though,
class.
or is it audio, or is it text based?
It's visual and it's sort of like Skype.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm gonna use it later, right after this. I'm gonna go over to my class that I'm teaching. I'm gonna use Collaborate Ultra. So yes, I remember you do have to add it, and then it's a tab, and you click on it.
Go ahead.
Ultra.
No, I'm just gonna remind myself to talk about it while
Yeah, I mean, you probably know way more, but that's what I've been using for my virtual office hours. And then you create a session and students can join.
Is it difficult?
I thought it pretty easy for them, because I made sure to go through student view and see how it actually operates, and they just click the join meeting, and you can set hours, like when it starts and ends, and they can turn their camera off.
So every Saturday you just log on and sit there.
So, and it has this little image that says, what does it say? It's like,
You'll find how
It's
many people
empty.
are there.
and but it's just funny to me because it says you're in this empty room or something like that. She'll log in and see what it, because it cracks me up. Alone again in this room. So I just leave it open and do other work, and unless a student happens to get confused and wander into my virtual office hours. But I'm gonna try it. We're using it today because one of my students is now at a distance, so to join on a face-to-face class. But it does work. A friend recommended that I use it, I think a year ago.
Kind of like Lane mentioned, I think it's helpful to require, but at least that's what I've had students do, and it was much more successful because people were a little scared. What is this virtual office hour? Am I being pulled into some strange portal of time and space? But really it's just, so we had people required to join the first virtual office hour just for a minute to say, hi, I'm here. But you get a participation score for showing up, and then it kind of demystifies it, makes it less scary than when someone does have an actual question. They already know this worked for them. It wasn't nearly as strange as they thought. They can even use their phones to join. So.
Oh yeah, I did that the first semester. I had Blackboard Collaborate. It's like, okay, it's gonna be a blended course. I have multiple offices across campus at Madison, so I'm gonna have my face-to-face office hours, and I'm gonna have my virtual office hours. And just like my face-to-face office hours, nobody showed up for the virtual office hours. It was exactly the same thing. I had the little moon face with a happy face saying, nobody's here, you're all alone. And so it was really exactly the same thing. But then the next semester I taught with Blackboard and Collaborate with using that as a virtual office. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna require that they come. You have to log in, you have to show up. I made them stay for the entire session. I really like the idea of 1 minute, just because I don't care if they're there. I just want them to see that process. And then again, it wasn't like it was night and day and I had crowds of people in my virtual office hours, but I would have students that would like log in the library and they're like, oh yeah, Lane, I forgot this one thing. Could you help me out? And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, absolutely. Usually the answer is on the syllabus, but still, the idea was they were starting to come in because I had demystified it. And I said, hey, this doesn't have to be video, which was like, I could hear a sigh of relief when I was face-to-face with them. I said, hey, I want you to sign into Blackboard Collaborate. You don't have to use video. Like, oh, that's because nobody wants to dress up. Right? Like the nice thing about online is that it's anonymous. But once I make them dress, show their face, then all of a sudden they have to get dressed up from like the waist up, right? Before, like they could just be anonymous and they can be in whatever clothes. They don't have to comb their hair, they don't have to brush their teeth, like that matters, but they don't have to like prepare. Whereas if it's just audio, they can just do whatever they want. And so I think that was a really big thing as well for them. And that cracking that like initial hesitation was so important to get them going on that. And that was a really simple process for them once you get them through that gate the first time. But really, yeah, that's cool.
I don't know why I was so reluctant to make it a requirement, like just one.
Oh yeah.
Because it's even just like a short, like that, because I always do introductions anyway on my Canvas, and I'm like, I would think like, could you post a picture of preferably a cat or your dog or some animal, but that in addition to that would be Super fun.
really build that community, especially if you're doing an online course, really get people to hear each other's voice, like, oh, these are people on the other side of the computer terminal. It's not just ones and zeros. So, yeah, cool. Any other questions
Plans for the future.
though?
So,
Thanks so much, Abigail.
Thank
for coming up and presenting for us. Sharing us kind of your experiences and kind of like the trials and tribulations as well